some live side splits, stretching and hip mobility. Let's go. Whew. I, for one, am feeling quite stiff. So this is going to be very important. I think I just scratched my hand on something because my knuckle was super itchy on this hand. But I'm going to try my best to not scratch it and irritate it anymore. And it's already turning pink. All right. Probably just got a paper cut or something. All right. Let's get started with some hip cars. All right. We're going to bring our knee up as high as we can. Lift, 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 lift some more. Lift again. Keep going. Then we're going to open up that leg to the side. Point that leg way out over that way. Try to keep the hips in the same spot the whole time. Rotate the ankle up. Hide it behind the knee. Then keep going. Bring that knee down some more. Lift that ankle up. Further up, further up, further up, further up, further up. Ooh, feel that stretch or feel that cramp building in your hamstrings. Bring that leg down and back. Once it's back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel that stretch right here in the front, and that is one rep. We're doing 10 of these on the left side, 10 of these on the right side. Let's crush some hip cars. High knee, open, ankle up, oof, down and back. That's one. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's two. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's three. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's four. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's five. High knee, open, ankle up, some more, down and back. That's six. Whew, I've lost balance. If you're also off balance, feel free to hold on to something. Usually I recommend you just hold on to the wall, but I got some feedback that you can't figure out what I'm doing, so now I'm mirroring you guys, and that means I'm gonna be more off balance because I'm not close enough to a wall to hold on to most things. All right, let's go. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's seven. Whew, high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's eight. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's nine. Last one. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's 10. Whew, that is 10 hip curls on our first leg. Shake out that leg, do a little dance, and let's get ready to go into the next one. D says stumbles to get started. Oh, absolutely. It's a whole bunch of stumbling. It's a whole bunch of figuring it out. And if you're finding that you're shifting around a lot, one thing you can do to make it a little less crazy is reduce how hard you're trying. It's going to sound a little counterintuitive, but for example, if you start losing balance as soon as you open the leg out, and it's because you're starting to spin, your whole hip is rotating out to the side, and you're kind of doing a little bit more than we need to, that is a sign that you should do a little bit less. All right. If you get here and then you're rotating, and then you try so hard to rotate that you throw your leg like deep into a weird spot, and that causes you to lose balance again, that would be a sign that you can try a little less. All right. All right. Where are we going? I think we got to do this leg, right? Let's go. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's one. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's two. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's three. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's four. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's five. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's six. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's seven. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's eight. Two more. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's nine. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's 10. Whew. Oh. Keisha says, I'm back. Hello, welcome back, Keisha. All right. Let's go. We got 10 more hip cars on each leg going in reverse. All right. Same drill. We're doing basically the same movement. We're focusing on bringing the leg back, focusing on lifting the leg up to the side. We're focusing on bringing the knee down and the ankle up, the knee up, ankle down, and we're bringing the knee forward. All right. There's one thing I want you to know, especially if you're brand new to the show. I want you to protect your low back. All right. In that first move, because it's the first move, we tend to go hooah and start feeling a little too excited. All right. If you are working so hard that there is this big notch right here, and your low back, where your butt begins, chances are you're putting a whole bunch of pressure in your low back, and you're basically doing a lot of torquing. All right, a little bit of torquing is no big deal; it's fine. But if you're working really hard, really trying to get that leg up because you're so excited to get into the hip cars, which is awesome, you might also be making your back a little bit uncomfortable. All right, so we want to just dial back that excitement, control it a little bit, and focus on contracting the hamstrings, contracting the glutes, feeling the stretch right here in the hip flexor, and keeping that core nice and strong so that you never get so loose that your low back can shoot all the way into your hips. All right, or whatever that way. All right, I think we have to get started. Let's do this. Reverse hip cars. I'm gonna do them facing this way so you can see what the legs do, and then I'll face you guys for the rest. All right, let's go. Stick your hand out for balance if you need it. Keep the core nice and tight and strong, and back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Again, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's two. I'm gonna do the rest facing you guys. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's three. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's four. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's five. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's six. Four more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's seven. Three more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's eight. Two more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's nine. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Oh, 10 reverse up cars on the list. Hip. We got one last hip to do. We're three-quarters of the way there. We're almost done. Let's get ready to finish this up. Do a little shake with those hips if you need to. If it's feeling real tight right here or right here because you're struggling to hold your weight up and you have to focus on clamping that hip muscle down, that is normal. That's okay. Do a little dance. Do a little shake. And let's get ready to get our last set of hip cars done. All right? Let's go. Bring that leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings. Flex the glutes. Feel the stretch right here in the hip flexor. Lift that leg to the side. Rotate the ankle up. Rotate the ankle down. And bring that knee forward. That's one. We're going to do nine more. Let's go. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's two. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's three. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's four. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's five. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's six. And as we do our last couple, I want you to try your best to keep the rest of your body mostly stable. All right? It's going to take a lot of effort. It's not easy to do, but I want you to try your best to focus on having all the movement come from the leg. I think that's eight. We got two more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's nine. Last one. Back, side. I lost balance. Ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 10. Whew! Those are our hip cars. If you don't know what those are good for, we are trying to slowly build up our mobility, working our hip and our legs through that maximum range of motion using our own muscle power. It's going to be tiring because you're pushing your leg into places where your leg's not just that strong and you're holding it there and you're doing it a whole bunch of times. As you build that strength, as you build that control there, you'll get more mobile over time, and that's what those are about. Now, that is our first warm-up exercise. We're going to move on into something a little bit different. Is warm-up exercise number two. What I want you to do is fold forward at the hips, bring your belly button pointing down into the ground, and chill. Relax. Catch your breath. Those hip cars were intense. And chill. As you hang out here, your hamstrings should start feeling the stretch of you folding forward. And now we want to add a little bit of movement. We're going to bend one knee. We're going to straighten out the other leg. We're going to switch back and forth. All right? Let's go. Boom. Other side. Boom. Other side. Keep going. Keep switching. When I say boom, that does not mean you have to move explosively. That just is me showing you this is a new state of existence. We have shifted over to the other side. All right. Whew. As you do these, your hamstrings should feel all sorts of tightness, especially when you transition to each new position. And as you get a little bit more comfortable here, you might notice there's a bit more tension here in the glutes-ish area. That is very likely because your hamstrings have two connecting points. One of them is sort of behind and below the knee right here, and the other one is in the bottom of the pelvis. All right, and when you are folded forward like this is the bottom of your pelvis right here in your butt feeling area. So if you're feeling it there, chances are that is still your hamstring, even though it feels way high up and it feels like it's in your butt. All right, we're gonna do a couple more. We're gonna wrap things up here. Bring your belly button down a little bit deeper if you can. Focus on switching. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our elephant walks. Pop into a little bit of squat, come back into standing. We're done with warm-up exercise number 2. We're going to move on into 3. These are called thoracic rotations. What I want you to do is shake out your hips, do a couple of hip circles, go both directions, and then we're going to get right back into the position we were just in. One leg is bent, one leg is straight. One arm from the bent side is reaching across to the straight leg. We are folding forward, pushing off that straight leg to help open and rotate our chest and our backs. All right. Next, we're going to reach the other arm straight up into the air as much as we can. We're going to rotate our neck to look at that hand, and we're going to push off that shin and try and reach a little further back. And that's thoracic rotation. We're going to do the other side now. This leg is bent. This leg is straight. We're taking the arm from the bent leg side. We're reaching across to the straight leg. We're pushing off that leg to help rotate and open up our chest. This hand is up in the air. Our neck is rotated to look at that hand, and we're going to inhale, exhale, and on that exhale, I want you to start reaching real far back over your shoulder. All right, ready? Let's go. Inhale, exhale, reach. Add another one in for good measure. Inhale, exhale, reach. That is 1 rep. We're doing 5 of these in total. I talk fast to make sure everybody feels included and can get right into it, but does not mean you have to move fast. All right, take it nice and slow. Breathe. If it feels good, keep going. If it feels a little too intense, dial it back. All right, let's keep going. Bent leg, straight leg, bent arm, straight leg. Push that shin and open up and reach. Look at the hand. Neck is rotated. Inhale, exhale, and reach. Other side. That's 2. I'm going to explain again. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Push and open. Look at the hand. Neck is rotated. Inhale, exhale, and reach. That's 3. And 3. We got 2 more. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open. Look at the hand. Reach and breathe. That's 4. Other side. 4. We got one last one. Shake out your shoulders. Let's go. This leg is bent. This leg is straight. This arm from the bent leg side is reaching across to the straight leg, pushing off that shin, opening up that back and chest. Looking at the hand. Neck is rotated. Inhale. Exhale and reach. This is 5. This is our last one. Reach, 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 reach. And we're done with that side. Last one on the other side. Inhale, exhale, reach. Woo! Those are some thoracic rotations. The shoulders, maybe your shoulders back here, maybe your chest is a little bit tired from being stretched out and twisted. That is okay. Just add a little bit of rotation, do some dance moves, do some body wiggles and some waves, work that spine, and let's get into our 4th and final warm-up exercise. It's called the Cossack switch. I'm going to demonstrate it real quick. You don't have to jump in right away. We're going to do some warm-ups to the warm-up. All right. What this looks like, what it's going to look like, let's go back so you can see more of my body, is this. We're going to take our time. We're going to drop down to one side. This leg is in a deep squat position. This leg is basically doing a side split. From here, we're going to breathe. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Then we're going to scoot our butts over to the other side. It's going to look like this. From here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to inhale, exhale, try to sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. And then we're going to come back to the other side. That is one rep. Once to the left, once back to where we started. And for most of us, our knees, our ankles, our hips are not going to be super ready. So we're going to pre-warm up our warm-up with some warm-up. Let's drop into a deep squat. I want you to sort of get into whatever position you can, low to the ground. Try to pull your chest down towards your knees. If your heels are up off the ground, that is absolutely a-okay. Mine are too. And we just want to slowly lean our knees down towards the ground, towards our toes, so we can make sure we feel that nice, strong Achilles tendon stretch, that nice, strong calf stretch. All right? It shouldn't feel crazy intense. It should feel okay. And I want you to just chill here for as long as you're comfortable. All right? Well, not for as long as you're comfortable, for a couple of seconds. Hopefully, you are relatively comfortable. From here, once you've taken a couple of solid breaths, you're feeling your calves release some of that tension. We're going to add a little bit of movement. All right? What I want you to do is start doing a little wiggle, doing a little shake, doing a little dance. Push one knee forward, pull the knee back, push one leg forward, push one leg back, open one leg to the side, open the other leg to the side, do a little dance. All right? This isn't actually important what you do. What is important is that you're adding a little bit of movement to help loosen up your hips, work those knees, work those ankles, figure out how to balance in this crazy looking position because it's not an easy position to stay in. All right? Once you spend a couple of seconds here, we're going to move on and get into the nitty gritty. We are going to do some Cossack switches. All right? I want you to stick your hands straight down into the ground, right beneath you. Stick one leg out to the side. I'm going to scoot that over there, get out of the way. And then I want you to plant this heel down on the ground. Having your heel down is going to help you stay a little bit more stable, and we want stability. All right? Next, we're going to try and get into a deep squat ish position. If you are just starting out and you're a little bit higher up like this, absolutely fine. Hang out here. If you're a little bit deeper or super deep or ultra deep because you're super flexible already, great. Stay super deep. The next step here is to bring your hips over to the other side. All right. If you're deep to the ground and you can, feel free to use your hands to help yourself over. If you're a little bit higher up, you can't reach the floor, feel free to get something to support your hands. Do this in front of a coffee table. Do this with the chair in front of you. Give yourself a little bit of support as you come over. If you don't need the support, perfect. Don't use it. Keep going. We're going to come over to the other side. We're going to sink into the ground by exhaling, trying to squeeze a little bit more stretch out of this position. Then tighten those muscles. Come on back over to the other side. That is one rep. We're going to do 10 of these in total, so 9 more. Let's go. Use your hands. Scoot your butt over to the side. Sit into it. Sink a little bit deeper. Come on back. Scoot, sit in it. Wait out a little bit longer. Get deeper. That's 2. Scoot your hands over. Scoot your butt over. That's the first part of 3. And 3. If you don't need your hands anymore, feel free to stop using your hands. If you get tired and you're like, I need to use my hands again, feel free to go back to using your hands. Take your time, scoot your butt over from side to side, work these muscles, get long, get stretched, get deep, and then power through those extended positions and come on back. I have lost count of how many of these we've done. I think it's 6, but now it's 7. We have some options here. If you're feeling the inside of your knees getting a little bit tense, feeling a little bit tired, feeling a little bit achy from this in between position, you can change it up and add something a little bit different. You can come up out of that extreme position, scoot your butt over from a little bit higher up, and then drop on back down. Then come back up, scoot back, and then sink back down. That'll take some pressure off of your knees from this in-between transition phase, and it'll make it a little bit easier on the knees. All right? Again, up, across, down, up, across, down. And finally, if you want, you can turn this into a power move entirely and go, squat the whole thing. Come on back down on the other side. And that is our Cossack switches and our Cossack squats and our Cossack slidey things. All right, that is our warm up. Hopefully, Your legs are kind of tired, but your hips, your knees, your ankles, those lower body joints are feeling like they're moving a little better, even though you're tired. All right. If me telling you that this is the warm up scares you because you're like, wait, what? There's more? This is just the beginning. Don't worry. This is a 45 to 60-minute hip mobility and side splits show. We do this every single day at 9 p.m., which means we started 22 minutes ago to practice the number one quality, consistency. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't follow it, it's not really the best plan for you because it doesn't work. If you like side splits, if you like hip mobility, and you need a little bit of help practicing consistency, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep coming back because we are here to help you stay consistent with some entertainment so that the suffering you're about to do doesn't suck as bad. All right, let's go and get into our first stretch. First thing we're gonna do is a hamstring stretch. All right, what I recommend you do is go grab something to pad your knee because we're starting our hamstring stretch in a position that looks like this. One leg is down straight into the ground, the other leg is straight in front of us, and we are going to fold our belly buttons down to that thigh that is in front of us. Whee! You don't have to get anything fancy. You don't have to have special fitness equipment. If you have old flip flops under the knee, old sneakers you don't care about under the knee, stuffed animal that has been ripped to pieces by your dog, squish it back up, stick it under your knee. Dirty laundry, fold it up, roll it up, stick it under your knee. Couch cushion, decorative pillow, yoga blocks, whatever. Those are all cool. You can stick those under your knee too. All right. Next, I want you to bring your legs together real quick, and I want you to try your best to just try to stand up straight, flex the core, clench your glutes, like somebody's about to spank you. You're going, ugh. Hold it nice and tight, stand up nice and straight, and just enjoy that nice strong posture straight up and down for a second. All right, I want you to lean in. I don't want your belly to be popping out. I don't want you to be hunched over like this. I want you to try your best to stay nice and straight all the way up. Cool. From here, we're taking that leg, we're extending it out in front. If you have your legs super close together like this and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm falling, feel free to open up your stance a little bit to help you balance. All right, just make sure it's not going all the way out to the side. That's a totally different stretch. It still has to be more or less pointing forward, but if you need a help with your balance, you can widen that stance a little bit. All right, from here we're ready to continue. Let's fold, get into the hamstring stretch. We're focusing on this belly button. We're focusing on bringing the belly button down to the side. Take a second, exhale, and try and fold yourself forward. I'm going to rotate a little bit so that you don't stare at the top of my head and you get to see what my body is doing a little bit more clearly. All right. Once you are here in this position, I want you to try your best to just chill and breathe. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, relax. Right now, if you are desperately trying to smash your face into your knee, you're working too hard. Chill, relax. This stretch comes from your hips and the angle of your hips. All right. And it does not come from your neck, come from your upper back. It does not come from your mid back, trying to round so that you can smash your head into your kneecaps. That is not how the hamstring stretch works. It's coming all from the angle of the hips. So that's why we're bringing the belly button down to the thigh, because that is basically an inch or two above your hip bones, if that makes sense. All right, from here, now that you're relaxed, now that you're chill, we're gonna do something called the inhale, exhale, fold. All right, we're gonna take a big breath in. We're gonna slowly exhale, and then while we slowly exhale, we're gonna really focus on bringing that belly button down to our thighs. All right, let's go. Big inhale, exhale and fold. Woo! We are in a deeper stretch. If this feels crazy intense right now, that's okay. I want you to experiment a little bit. I want you to bend that knee a little bit and straighten it back out, and bend that knee and then straighten it back out, and bend that knee and straighten it back out. You can come up onto a much higher knee bend. You can really pull your chest into that straightened leg, or bent leg, excuse me, and see if after a couple of those, if you can fold a little bit deeper into the stretch a little bit more comfortably. All right. It might not work for everybody. It might take a little bit more time for some people to adjust after the knee bend and stuff. But see if doing a little knee bend, focusing on bringing your belly button, your abs, your chest down to your leg, and then straighten it back out into that folded hamstring stretch. Makes it a little bit easier to get a little bit deeper. All right. Once you're here, we're going to continue breathing. We're going to continue chilling. All right. We're going to take one more inhale, exhale, relaxing breath. And then we're going to do the inhale, exhale, fold one last time. Get a little bit deeper. All right. Let's go. Inhale. Big inhale. Exhale and fold. Fold your belly button down. And if you want, add in a little bit more knee bend, focusing on getting your chest as low to that thigh as possible. And once you're ready, we're going to hang out here in that straight leg position, or as straight as you can get it for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. I worked a little too hard. I'm cramping. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Keep breathing. Do not hold your breath. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our hamstring stretch. Whew. Hopefully, if you're a regular on the show, you tried a couple of those knee bends I told you about, and maybe let me know in the chat if you feel like the stretch is a little bit different. You feel like you've gotten a little bit deeper compared to some of the previous shows. Um, Obviously, if you're making progress anyway, you might be getting deeper regardless. But let me know if you felt like it was easier, if it felt less intense getting into that deeper hamstring stretch with those knee bends. All right. We're going to continue. We're going to do the other side. Let's go. Stand up nice and straight. And then extend that leg out in front of you. Bring the belly button down towards that thigh. Wee! Ooh. Soon as it starts getting tight, feel free to stop. Feel free to start breathing and chilling. Inhale. Exhale. Flop over that leg. Chill. Inhale. Exhale. Chill. Give yourself a little knee bend. Bring your chest and your belly button down to that thigh first. Straighten it back out. Knee bend. Straighten it back out. Knee bend. Straighten it back out. Knee bend. Straighten it back out. And let's get ready to inhale, exhale, fold. All right. We're going to take a big breath in. We're going to slowly exhale it out. We're going to fold a little bit deeper into the stretch. You ready? Let's do it. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Woo. We're in that deeper stretch. Woo, 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 woo. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Try to relax a little bit. Now bend that knee. Fold your chest down. Fold that belly button down to that leg. Straighten it back out. Fold some more. Straighten it out. Fold some more. Straighten it out. Fold some more. Straighten it out. And whoo, breathe. Try to relax. One more inhale, exhale. All right. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the calves, relax the hamstrings, relax the glutes, relax the low back. Again, if your neck, your mid back, your low back, your everywhere above your belly button is feeling a lot of tension because you're trying to smash your face into your knees, you're working too hard. This fold is coming from the angle of the hips. That's all we care about. Everything above your hips, everything above your belly button, you can relax those things, all right? Chill. And we're going to do, I think, one last inhale, exhale, fold, and we'll be done with some 30 seconds after that, right? Let's go. Inhale, exhale, fold. Big, big, big inhale. Exhale and fold. Woo. That is our stretch. Feel free to do another couple of knee bends if you want, and see if you can straighten out that leg a little bit deeper into the stretch. 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. For my regulars who are feeling strong, I want you to imagine that you're trying to squeeze these muscles in the front of your hip. And I want you to imagine that you're trying to lift this leg into your face. Your leg might not move anywhere, but I want you to imagine that you are trying. All right. That will add a bit of contraction, and you might start cramping up here in the hip, and that's okay. You can always come out of it if you start cramping. All right. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. As you contract that hip muscle and try your best, see if you can pull yourself deeper into that stretch. Bring yourself a little bit lower into the ground. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. What we're working on is called compression strength. Trying to compress our upper body and our lower body together. 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. If you're new to the show and you're just starting out, you don't have to worry about any of those things that I talked about. You can just focus on trying to relax as much as you can into that stretch, folded forward. That is our hamstring stretch. So that's the first of our 5 stretches. If you don't know, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work, and we do this every single day at 9 p.m. to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering that we are currently doing and we're about to do more of a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, a little bit easier to stay consistent with. So if you need help with consistency and you want to work on your hip mobility, you want to work on your side splits, feel free to keep on joining in, keep on hanging out, and hit follow, hit subscribe. All right. We are 34 minutes deep into the live. So if you're not in the Eastern time zone that I'm referring to when I say it starts at 9 p.m., then subtract 34 minutes from whatever time it is, and that is the time that we start our live every day. All right. Next, we're going to move on into stretch number 2. It's called the butterfly stretch. It looks like this. I want you to stick your butt, stick your low back, stick your shoulders, stick your head up against a wall or something very flat, very smooth. All right. That way, you have some nice back support. We'll need that in a second. Next, we're going to take our feet, we're going to pull them together and bring them in towards our groin. This stretch, the butterfly stretch, is a groin stretch. You're going to feel it right here in the center of your legs. In order to get the most out of this stretch, I want you to try your very best to bring your knees down into the ground. I want you to use your own muscles, your outer thigh muscles, your glutes, and I want you to start by bringing them down, 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 down into the ground. If you're new to the show and you're like, what muscles are those? What the heck are you talking about? Focus on just 2 things. 1, feeling a more intense stretch here in the groin. 2, seeing if your knees go down just a little bit. All right. If they get a tiny bit lower, half a centimeter, half an inch, you're doing good. You don't have to worry about any of the other details. All right. Next, you can relax those muscles real quick. Whew, chill. We're gonna take our hands. We're gonna apply a little bit of pressure just on the insides of our knees. All right. I want you to push straight down into the legs. When you do this, your shoulders and the back of your head will probably push against the wall. So if you're feeling some pressure there, that is normal. And I want you to breathe. We're going to do this for 30 seconds. And as you exhale, I want you to see if you can apply a little bit more pressure with your hands and push your legs a little bit deeper into the stretch. All right. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26. Again, on every exhale, I want you to slowly add a little bit more pressure. See if you can bring your legs down a little bit deeper into the stretch. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. If you're a regular on this show, this is just another reminder that every day does not have to be an improvement. If your body was that magical, it would be crazy. Awesome. But it's probably not like that. There's some days that you're going to feel real good. You're going to feel like you make a huge jump in your progress. There's going to be lots of days where nothing feels like it's changed at all. And there's going to be lots of days where you feel like you've regressed. You've gone backwards. All right. So if today doesn't feel like an improvement day, you're feeling like your hips are real tight, the real tense, that is okay. Breathe. Push those legs down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Last couple of seconds. Keep pushing. Don't stop unless it hurts. If it hurts, you can definitely stop. 2, 1, 0. That is our stretch. Let your hands go. Whew. Your legs will probably pop on up just a little bit. And I just want you to chill. Breathe. Relax. And if you can, start flapping the wings of this butterfly. All right. Bring your knees up. Let it fall back down. Bring them up. Flap them down. Flap, 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 flap. And when your legs are feeling alive and ready to move on, let's go ahead and move on into stretch number 3, our standing pancake. All right. Get rid of all the things on the floor around you. You don't need it. and let's get ready to fold. What we're gonna do next is open up our legs nice and wide. All right. First thing I want you to notice is if you are feeling pain right here in that hip, you have gone too far. Stop, bring your legs back together a little bit, and then focus on folding forward, bring your belly button down into the ground. Fold, 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 fold some more, fold again, fold. And this is our starting position. From the side, it's gonna look a little bit like this. Legs decently wide, without pain in the hips, folding forward, and here we are. The goal of the pancake is actually to go from here to flat, and it is really, 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 really hard. So we're going to do this version where gravity is giving us a ton of assistance, pulling us down deeper into the ground. To get the most help from gravity, I want you to try your best to keep your upper body horizontal. And then, if you're ready for something more intense, I want you to extend your arms past your head as straight as you can, also horizontal, so that your biceps are by your ears. And exhale and see if you sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. If that's not enough for you, you want to go even harder, feel free to hold something in your hands, extend them all the way out, and make sure to breathe. Inhale, exhale, bring that belly button down, pull yourself into a deeper stretch. All right, that's basically the gist of it. If you want, you can at this point decide if you want to push your legs a little bit further out, widen your stance. If it's comfortable, continue. If there's like a sharp, uncomfortable, painful, tingly, achy sensation, you've probably gone too far. Come back a little bit. All right. With that, we're ready to begin. Let's go. Get into position. Fold your belly button down. Fold it down some more. If you don't want to do any of the crazy stuff, you can hold your chest, by the way. You can always put your hands down and stop. You don't have to push as hard as I'm going to be. All right. Yeah, let's go. Ready? Bring that belly button down. Fold forward. Inhale, exhale. Fold some more. 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Make sure to keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. If you get tired, you get uncomfortable, you get lightheaded, anything gets weird, put your hands down. You don't have to push that hard the whole time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Put your hands down. We are done. Oh, if your inner thighs are feeling a little crazy right now and they're not really working, I want you to try to wiggle your toes in towards the center of your body, wiggle your heels in towards the center of your body, wiggle your toes, wiggle your heels, toes, and heels, and toes, and heels, and toes, and heels, and toes, and heels, until your legs are underneath you. You might be all bent over. Take a second, lean back, straighten out that back, pop into a little bit of a squat, push off those knees, come back into standing. That is our standing pancake. If your inner thighs are feeling fried right now, that is because your adductors were put through a lot. All right. When you're in this position and your legs get wider and wider and wider, this inner thigh muscle is getting stretched. But it's not just getting stretched. The longer I talked while you were holding this position, and the longer you were trying to get into a deeper position, the more intense the contraction was going to be in this leg. And I just told you it was getting stretched. What is stretched and is contracted? Yes, yes, it is. The stretch is what you're forcefully doing to that leg, right? For the most part, you're trying to get yourself into a deeper stretch, but your body is going to unconsciously, for the most part, start contracting. There's a defense mechanism built deep into your brain that is going to stop you from getting into positions that it thinks isn't safe for you. And you have to prove to your brain, your subconscious, that it's safe for your brain to slowly allow you to get into these crazy positions, right? And what happens is when you're in this deep position, your muscle is stretched for sure, but your unconscious part of the brain, your central nervous system, is going, whoa, 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 stop that. It's contracting your muscles. And as you hang out here, those muscles are going to get tired and they're going to be very unhappy and they're going to keep on getting tired and they're going to keep on being unhappy. And that is probably why you struggled so much to bring your legs back in together because they were really just flexing real hard the whole entire time. All right. Whew, the other place you should be feeling, or maybe were feeling that stretch, was in your hamstrings. We spent a lot of time folded forward and trying to bring our belly buttons down towards the ground. It doesn't matter if your legs are together or if your legs are apart. If you're trying to fold forward and your belly button is going towards the ground, your hamstrings are getting stretched. And you probably felt that. Whew, that is a third stretch. Now you got the basic anatomy lesson. Let's move on into stretch number 4. We got the option between the figure 4 or the pigeon stretch. I'm pretty sure we did the figure 4 last night. Is that right? I think we did the figure 4 last night. So today we're going to do the pigeon. Both stretches have the same fundamentals. All right, we're taking one leg, we're crossing it over to the other side, so making this thing that looks vaguely like the number 4. We're going to grab that ankle, we're going to pull it up to our belly button, we're going to bring our belly button down to that ankle. All right, from the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. We're going to feel the stretch out here, and when you know what that muscle is technically a glute stretch, but it looks like it's in your hip. Okay, so for the pigeon, let's drop on down to the ground. Again, the leg is across the body, all right? If you come on down, bring that leg across the body, we're ready to begin. The goal of this stretch is to, like I said, stretch out this muscle right here. All you have to do is bring your upper body down towards that leg. Boom. You should start feeling a whole bunch of stretch going on in your hamstrings and the outside of the glutes. You might be feeling some sensation here in the hip where you're folding forward. If you're able to do all those things, you're already in your stretch. All right. But we got this other leg over here that I want to talk about. If you want, you can keep that leg just chilling off to the side. It could be extended, it could be bent, and that will allow you to still get a great pigeon stretch. If you've done some yoga, if you've watched some videos, and you're like, wait, isn't the pigeon stretch the one where you stick the leg back behind you? Yes, yes, it can be. That's optional. For our show, for our purposes, it's not that important to extend the leg back. But if you want to do that and you need a little bit of advice, let's talk about extending that leg back behind you. To get this leg back behind you, you're stretching a whole bunch right here in the hip flexor. All right. And if you're not very flexible just yet, you're going to feel a whole bunch of pressure in your knee smashing into the ground because that is the spot that's going to get smashed into the ground first. If you straighten out your leg a little bit and you get onto your toes, you might not smash the knee. That might be a little bit easier. All right. But probably going to feel a whole bunch of stretch here. What you can do to make this easier on yourself if it's uncomfortable is focus on leaning forward and folding flat. When you're folding flat towards the ground, it becomes more of a straight line. It feels more like you're lying down, and that's neutral, right? If it's neutral, it's going to be easier to handle. So, first thing, see if you can fold forward and get out of the extreme position. Next, if that is not enough for you, elevate your front leg. It doesn't have to be with anything fancy. It could be a coffee table, could be an ottoman, could be a chair, just something that is relatively stable. If you elevate your front leg, your hips are also going to come up. Unless you are insanely flexible, they're going to come up. When your hips are up, you're going to have way more room behind you and underneath you for this leg to hang out underneath you, and it will be much easier on these hip muscles. All right? So, give that a try. Next, find your stool, find your coffee table, find whatever you're going to use to help you get into a nice position, and let's get ready to go. We're trying to get this center line in our upper body down to the midpoint between our ankle and our knee. All right, somewhere around here. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just some ballpark things to aim for. All right, we're gonna go fold, 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 fold. Fold, 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 fold. Extend the other leg back behind you if you can, and inhale. Exhale. Sink a little bit deeper in that stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Try to relax your low back muscles. Try to relax as many muscles as you can and just flop into the floor. Imagine you're turning into jello and melting. All right? We're holding this for 30 seconds. Keep breathing. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. If you feel like the stretch is too easy, it's too chill for you, and you want to make it harder, I got some options. The first thing you can do is push this ankle a little bit forward towards your face. That will make it way harder on your hamstrings. 20, 19, 18, 17. Experiment with being lazy and just falling on the floor with trying to straighten out your back and see which feels more intense. Straightening out your back should feel more intense and feel like there's more pressure on that leg. And you should probably try that occasionally. All right. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep breathing. Last couple breaths. 3, 2, 1. 0. That is our pigeon stretch. Whew! Your legs are tired. Your hamstrings are feeling crazy right now. That is okay. That's normal. We're going to switch over to the other side. Let's go. Bring that other leg across. Fold the middle of the upper body down to that midpoint between the knee and the ankle. All right. And extend that leg behind you if you can, if you want to. Again, you don't have to. It's optional. Inhale, exhale. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Inhale, exhale. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Turn into jello. Flop. Sink into the ground. And breathe. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26. Try to keep your hips low and as close to the ground as you can. Your head should not be below your hips. All right. 25, 24, 23, 22. Again, if it feels too easy, push your ankle towards your face, and that should make everything really a lot harder. 19, 18, 17, 16. Keep breathing. Keep on trying to sink into the floor. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our stretch. Come on out of that pigeon. Breathe, and let's get ready to get into our side splits. All right. If you're just joining in, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes, probably closer to 60 minutes because we're already 50 minutes deep of side splits and hip mobility work. All right. We're going to jump into our side splits right now, and we're going to do those a little bit differently from the rest of our show. We're going to do 3 rounds of 30 seconds, and in between each of those rounds, we're going to shake out our body. We're going to get loose. We're going to relax, and we're going to help our body chill so we can get deeper into our stretch. All right. If you're ready, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and let's get ready with some side split safety. All right. First thing I want you to do as we transition into side splits is stick your butt up against the wall. I want you to take one step in front of the wall, so you're about 8 to 12 inches in front of it. All right. And the reason for that is because we want the wall for support in case you start leaning a little bit too far back and you fall backwards. All right. If that happens, and you start going backwards, you're like, oh no, I'm falling. And you lean so far back that your butt touches the wall. Everything's fine. You're just chilling here. Everything's cool. You do a little hip thrust, whee, and then you're back into your side splits. All right. If you were to try that without a wall, you lean a little too far back, and you were like, oh no, oh no, and oh. Your best case scenario would be you fell on your butt and everything was contained. Your worst case scenario is you kept on falling, you hit your head, and all sorts of crazy things happen. That would be bad. We don't want that. So stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, or at least make sure there's something soft behind you to land into, and we're ready to begin. I recommend a wall because we're going to use it for support in a little bit. All right, we're going to rest our butts on it intentionally, not just as a safety mechanism, intentionally. And it's going to help make things feel a little bit more chill, feel a little bit more safe, and that is why we're using the wall. Cool? All right, let's do this. Then put your butt against the wall, take one step forward, 8 to 12 inches, open up those legs, and let's get ready to do some side splits. What we want to focus on is make sure our hips do not hurt. If there is a pinching, crazy grinding sensation here in the hips, you have gone too far. Your thigh bone is smashing into your pelvis. We don't want that. What we want is for you to be comfortable. So bring your legs in just a little bit. Focus on folding at the belly button. Bring that belly button down towards the ground. And whew, if that still feels good, we are awesome. Stick your hands down onto the ground if you can. If you cannot, or if you just don't want to, elevate your hands a little bit using a stool, coffee table, chair, anything that will support your weight, that won't collapse underneath you, and will be maneuverable. All right, because we need to adjust the hand position. When you have something useful, it's time to continue. We're going to make sure our hips don't bother us again. All right. So this next thing we're going to do is rotate the leg so it gets into a position where our thigh bones are not going to smash into our hip bones. What we want to do looks like this. We're going to rotate this leg so that instead of the knee pointing forward, instead of the toes pointing forward towards you guys, towards the camera, we're going to rotate the leg so the knees point up and the toes point up into the air and our heels are down on the ground. And we got to do that on both sides. Boom. Heels down, toes up, knees pointing up. From here, once your legs are both rotated, we're in our side splits. The only thing holding us back from a deeper side split is our muscle tension. It's not the bones smashing into each other or anything crazy like that. All that's left is tension. All right? So, take a couple seconds. Inhale. Exhale. Try to relax and sink a little bit deeper into your stretch. If you're new to the show, don't worry. Go as deep as you can and take as many uncomfortable leaps in one direction as you like. You don't have to push that much harder if it feels uncomfortable, if it feels scary. All right, let's go. We're gonna do a little lean to the right. Whew. A little lean to the left. Whee. Another lean to the right. Another lean to the left. See if we can push our legs out just slightly deeper. And once you feel like you can't go any further, focus on moving your hips to the wall. Walk your hands back towards your hips and see if you can rest your butt against the wall. We start at 8 to 12 inches in front of that wall for a reason. We want to use that wall for a little bit of support. All right. If you have been using something to elevate your hands for a little bit of help, I will show you how we get into that position. We're going to just slowly wiggle the stool back and we're going to lean with our butts against the wall. If whatever you're holding on happens to be resting in between your legs as well, that's totally fine. We just need a comfortable position to hang out in, okay? Once you are here, if you find that you can go a little bit deeper, awesome. Take that space, get a little bit deeper. Inhale, exhale, try to relax. If your knees are right now pointing up into the sky and the top of your head is also pointing into the sky, you're still in your side split position and that is good, that's what we want. When you are in this position, you can relax your toes, you can relax your feet, you can relax your calves, you can relax your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back. You can try to relax as many muscles as you can. When you relax, it should be easier to get a little bit deeper into your stretch. Okay, inhale, exhale. Try and relax. See if you can wiggle one leg out a little further. Breathe again. See if you can wiggle the other leg out a little further. And now we are in position for our first stretch. We're holding this for 30 seconds. Keep on breathing. Keep on trying to sink your butt into the floor. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward, bring your legs in underneath you, and come on out of that stretch. That is our first side split attempt. All right. Once you're back in some sort of resting, kneeling position, take a couple seconds to breathe, chill, and we're going to come back into standing to shake out some of that tension in our legs right now. All right. I want you to try and balance your weight on one leg, and I want you to slowly start shaking out the ankle of the other leg. This does not have to start intense, does not have to start fast. Take it nice and slow, build up the speed as you go. The reason why we're doing this is because we want the muscles in our legs to relax. If your ankles are flopping all over the place, doing whatever the heck they want, the muscles above your ankles are probably also relaxed. All right? That's the basic premise. Shake out the other ankle. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. As you do more of these, your muscles will relax a little bit faster over time, and then things will get looser and chiller, and you'll be ready for more side splits faster and faster and faster and faster. Keep on shaking out those legs. Keep on shaking out the ankles. If anything feels tight, feels intense, shake it out some more. It's all about relaxation, letting it go chill. If you are not sure what I'm talking about, focus on how those ankles move. If you point the toes, if you flex the foot, if you intentionally do ankle circles, you're probably feeling all these muscles working real hard, right? If your feet are able to get into those angles, into those positions without those muscles contracting super hard, those muscles and the counter muscles, the antagonists, have to be allowing you to get into those positions, right? So they have to be loose enough to let you do all those things. That's the principle. Or just if our ankles are going to crazy locations, that means our muscles have to be loose enough to allow them to go into those crazy positions. All right. Whew, that is our lower leg. We're gonna move up to the hips. What I want you to do is put all your weight into one leg. I want you to put the big toe of your other leg down in the ground, and we're gonna focus on rotating the knee in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. Okay, this is gonna help us build a tiny little bit of strength and control here in the hip muscles that bring the knees in and out, which is useful in and of itself. But as you shake out this leg, I want you to get chill. I want you to get relaxed. I want you to flop that leg around, and I want you to feel comfortable bringing the legs in and out. You can open up that stance. You can start shaking a little bit wider. You can eventually get to a position where this leg starts flopping around like this and it looks like it's made of jello, right? What we want is just like before, all of our muscles to be as loose as possible and flop around and chill, right? I switch to the other side at some point. Take your time, switch if you would like. If you want to instead focus on the basics, you can focus on the opening and the closing, internal, external rotation instead. Those are all lots of different words for the same thing. I hope that doesn't get confusing because I called it like four different things in one go. Uh, once your hips are shaken out, you're feeling a little bit looser. You can walk around, shake out those hips. You're feeling loose, doing some dancing. We're ready to move on to the side split number two. All right. We're gonna start one step in front of the wall, 8 to 12 inches. We're gonna open up our legs nice and wide. We're gonna focus on folding and bring our belly buttons down to the ground. If your hands can reach the floor, awesome. Stick with it. If they cannot, or if you just don't want to, because it seems like a pain in the butt, feel free to elevate your hands on something like a stool, a coffee table, something that will hold your weight nice. All right. From here, since we did a first round of side splits and we got to shake out some tension, you might find that your legs already want to go a lot deeper than before during that first round. Amazing. Take that space. Get low. From here, we're going to rotate our legs, all right? So that the heels are down, the toes are pointing up, and the knees are pointing up. It doesn't have to be straight up into the sky. It can be at, a little bit of a diagonal, all right, depending on how high or how low you are in your version of this external rotation, all right? Once you have rotated your legs so that your heels are down, your toes are up, and your knees are up, we're in the side split position, and now all we gotta do is try and sink a little bit deeper, all right? Take this at your own pace. You don't have to push yourself. Breathe, relax, and sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Add a little lean to the right, a little lean to the left, a little lean to the right, little lean to the left, little lean to the right, little lean to the left. See if you can push your legs out a little bit deeper. Walk your hands back towards your hips. See if you can rest your butt against the wall that we were starting on. And again, lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to the left. See if you can get a little bit deeper into your stretch. Once you are as low as you can get for now, take a nice big inhale. Exhale. See if you can relax and get a little bit deeper. All right, we're going to do the second version a little bit differently than the first version. I want you to walk your hands forward just a little bit so that your knees are now pointing up at a diagonal towards someplace in front of you. All right. And your hands are kind of down in a push up position or in a plank position where your hands are underneath your shoulders. From here, you're going to feel more of a stretch in your inner thigh muscles. Okay. That is what we want. The side split is a combination of a whole bunch of different muscles in your legs and your hips. And right now we're focusing on the inner thigh muscles. This should be the same muscle that you were feeling when we were doing the standing pancake. All right. That's it. Add another wiggle. Seating you a little bit deeper. Oof. 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Try to relax if you can. Don't bend at the knees very much or at all. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. If at any point it feels too crazy, too exhausting, you can always sit back a little bit, turn it more into that hamstring stretch that we were doing before. And then when that is feeling okay, you can go back into it if you want. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. That is our stretch. Walk your hands forward slowly. Bring your legs in underneath you. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy. Take it nice and slow. Grunt, groan. Make as many sound effects as you need to. Pull your legs in. Whew, that is our second side split. Take a second. Catch your breath. And when you can, come on back into standing. Whoo, hoo, hoo. Again, grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. If your legs are feeling like you're a drunk penguin right now, that's okay. We're going to fix that real soon. Try your best to start shaking out that ankle nice and gentle to start. If you're feeling okay, feeling comfortable, you can shake a little bit harder, shake a little bit faster, flop even further, and go. You are made of jello. You are a soggy, overcooked noodle, and you are just flopping all over the place. If you feel like you can start shaking out more of your leg, you can start adding rotations. You can just go and flop out some more. Feel free to add it in. Just be careful. If your joints are not used to being flopped around, shaken, might be a little uncomfortable. All right. If it doesn't feel good, you don't have to push in that direction. Cool? All right. That's one leg. Other leg. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Your ankles are relaxed. Your calves are relaxed. All the other little muscles around your calves, relaxed-ish. And we're ready to add some more shaking. All right? Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And whew. Once your lower legs are feeling a little bit better, let's move on into the hips. All your weight is in one leg, big toe of the other leg is down, rotate the knee in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. What is moving right now is this thigh bone where it connects into the hips, right? It's not the rest of the body. The rest of the body is mostly stable, or you're having fun with it. You're like, do, dance. Other side. All your weight is in one leg, big toe is down, in, out, 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 in, out. Once you're done a couple of those, your hips are feeling a little bit looser. You can play a little hacky sack and move. We're probably ready for side splits round 3. All right. But if your hips are still tired and they're still a little tight, feel free to keep on shaking, keep on wiggling, keep on dancing, and loosen up those hips. All right. Whew. Let's get into side split number 3. Let's do it. We're almost done. I'm out of breath and my lips are dry. 30 seconds is all we got left. Let's do this. Take one step in front of the wall. Open up your legs nice and wide. Bring the legs in if you're feeling discomfort at the hips. Fold, bring that belly button down. Put your hands down if you can. If you cannot, feel free to elevate your hands with a stool or something stable to rest your hands on. All right? Next, we're going to drop a little bit deeper into our stretch. If it's comfortable, just go ahead and take that space. All right? After that, we're going to externally rotate our body, our legs, excuse me, so that our heels are down, our toes are up, and our knees are pointing up-ish. Other leg is doing the same. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. And then we're going to just drop. Drop as low to the ground as we can. Breathe. Try to relax on that exhale. Release the tension in your body. Chill. If your knees are pointing up and the top of your head is pointing up, you're still holding that side split position, so you can start relaxing some muscles. All right. If you were flexing your feet because you were like Ken said, point the toes up, you can relax those muscles. All right. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the ankles, relax the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the low back. Inhale, exhale, flop onto the ground. See if you can get a little bit deeper. All right. We are moving on into side split number 3. What you do now is up to you. If you'd like, you can take advantage of the position that we're in right now and focus on this stretch where you're going to feel it more in your hamstrings and you're sitting up a little straighter. All right. Your toes are pointing up in the air. If you'd prefer, you want to work on your inner thigh muscles instead of your hamstrings. You can do that thing we just did where we walked our hands forward and our hands were underneath our shoulders. We looked like we were in a push up position and we felt the stretch more here. We have a third option. You can get into some pancake. All right. I believe that what is holding me back from a deeper side split right now is my inability to get to very deep pancake. So I'm adding pancakes in for myself. These are completely optional. You don't have to do this at all. You can focus on your side splits if you would like. But to do the pancake seated, we did the standing pancake. To do the seated pancake, you're just straightening out your back. You're trying to keep your legs in the same spot, keep them from moving, and you're trying to fold forward. All right. That is what I'm gonna do. Oh, we're gonna take another 5 seconds to set up into whatever version you would like to do here for our third and final stretch. We're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. We're gonna remember to breathe. We're going to chill as much as we can. We're gonna get as deep into the stretch as we can, and then we'll be done. All right. Let's go. 3 more seconds to set up. 2 more seconds to set up. 1 more second to set up, and let's go. 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. We're almost done. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. That's it. Whew. Come on out of that stretch however you need to, however you can. Some of you are walking your hands forward, pulling your legs underneath you. I'm just desperately trying to bring my legs together at this point because they are so tired. Oh, oh. That, everybody, is our side splits slash pancake slash whatever else you were doing. We're gonna try our best to stand up. We're gonna shake out our legs, get loose one last time. We're gonna do some joint checks, and then we'll be done. Let's go. Come on back up into standing. I'm gonna move this stool out the way. Grunt, groan, wobble around like a drunk penguin, and let's shake it out. Shake out the ankles. Start nice and slow and gentle. Pick up the intensity as you get more comfortable, as you get more loose, as you get more floppy. Remember, we are soggy noodles. Shake, 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 flop, 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 flop. Other side, shake, 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 shake. Again, you don't have to start super intense. You can pick up the intensity as you find that is comfortable for you to do so. All right. Shake, 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 wiggle, 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 flop, 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 and turn yourself into floppy noodles. And once your body is feeling a little bit loose, let's make sure our hips are good. What we're gonna do is all of our weight is in one leg, big toe is down. We're doing that in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. If you're new to the show, stick with that. Build up some strength, build up some control. If you're regular, let's do the leg shake, the jello flop. All right, let's go. Shake, 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 shake. If you're somewhere in between, you're like, wait, how do we do that? Extend this leg out to the side. There's almost no weight on this leg, right? If you have weight on it, it's going to be very hard for your muscles to not be tense. You need there to be almost no weight for your muscles to relax. What we're doing is doing that internal external rotation that we've been practicing this whole time. Bring the knee in, bring the knee out, bring the knee in, bring the knee out. And we're just going to shake really fast. We're going to shake so fast that the legs and all the flesh on that leg is going to be flopping all over the place. And it's going to look like our leg is made of jello and it's going everywhere. All right. That is the whole entire move. Once you've done that a little bit, you might even find your thigh gets a little bit itchy because of whatever is rubbing on top of each other. And you don't have to worry about that. You can just stop. Other side, all your weight is in one leg. Other leg is just chilling straight, maybe a slight bend in the knee, And we're shaking, we're shaking, we're shaking, we're shaking, we're shaking, we're shaking so fast. The leg is just flopping all over the place. And that is it. Whew, we're gonna do some quick joint checks to wrap up. First thing we're gonna do is some hip circles, nice and slow. Wee. Oh. Go through that range of motion. Feel it in the hips, feel in the sides of your butts, feel it in the front. Support your low back with the hands. Keep on scooting. And go the other way. Once your hips are feeling a little bit looser, a little bit more comfortable, let's continue with the quick high knee. Boom, boom. If your knees came up, you don't have to worry about anything else. Let's just move on. Next, we're gonna do some squats and actually, we're gonna do one squat. We're gonna do some calf raises in that squat. All right. What I want you to do is keep your feet directly underneath your hips, not super wide, not super narrow, just underneath your hips. Cool. From here, we're going to drop into a squat. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. I want you to really fold your chest down towards your knees. And I want you to try to push your knees a little bit forward towards your face direction. All right. When you do this, your whole body is going to be leaning that away in front of you. And your toes should be working real hard to grip the ground, to control you, to keep you from falling forward. When your toes are working real hard, the arch of your foot should be working real hard. You should be able to touch it, poke it, and feel the tension there in your foot. And that is what we want. We want the toes, the feet working. From here, your Achilles tendon, your calves are probably working, your quads are probably crying. So let's get into some calf raises. Put your hands down on the ground if you need a little bit of support. If you don't, just start raising those ankles. Come on up into your toesies. Come on up. Come on down. Come on up. Come on down. Take your time with it. Go as fast as slow as you want. Try your best to raise your heels so that they're going straight up and down. All right. So they look a little bit like this. If you try to spread your weight across your whole entire forefoot, between your big toe all the way to your pinky toe, it tends to look like this. You start pushing your knees out to the side. If you focus on balancing the weight between your big toe and sort of your index toe, or maybe your big toe and your middle toe, it's much easier to go straight up and down. Once you've done a couple of those, we're ready to wrap. That is a whole bunch of stuff that makes sure your toes are working, your feet are working together, your Achilles tendon, your calves, your, what else do we do? Ankles, knees, quads, glutes, low back, are all coordinated. And if you're able to do most of those things, chances are you're doing just fine and you're ready to go back to whatever else you have to do for the rest of the day. All right? That is our life. We are done. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, working on that hip mobility and our side splits today. I'm tired. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling proud. Remember, the goal of this show is to help each other practice consistency. All right. If you're not feeling 100% on a given day, that's absolutely okay. Today is a 50% day and you showed up and you gave 50%, fine. If today is a 20% day, you showed up, you gave 20%, awesome. What matters is that we're developing the skill of consistency, right? And this applies, to this show if you care about hip mobility, if you care about side splits, but this also applies to anything else that you want to do, anything else that you want to make progress in, anything else that you want to focus on. Every time you show up, every time you prove to yourself that you're someone who stays consistent, that's just a little, extra check mark somewhere in some subconscious imaginary part of your brain going, I'm that person who shows up and does the thing I need to be doing because I care and I'm going to make it happen, right? However you do that, not important. What is important is that you showed up. And that is what we are here trying to do. Um, I don't need to get into principles about how this show is designed to help encourage consistency, but you don't need to hear that again. I probably said it like 3 times this week already. So I think it's time for me to move on into some shameless self promotion. We make other videos. I make other videos, and a lot of it is around adding a little bit of mobility work, a little bit of fitness into the quick, tiny moments in your day where you would otherwise stare off into space or you'd be doom scrolling. All right. If you got 2 minutes waiting for your coffee to come out of the little machine, or waiting for the water to boil, or your microwave to finish lunch, or for the ramen to be not a brick and soft and edible, Those are perfect moments for you to get a tiny bit of exercise, whether that is a couple of squats, a couple of calf raises, some Cossack switches, or even our warm up, some hip cars. Those are great movements that don't take very much time at all and have huge benefits. All right. One of those big benefits that most people don't talk about all that much is your joints are fed through something called synovial fluid. All right. When I say fed, I mean that kind of metaphorically because they don't have mouths, they don't eat. But unlike the rest of your body that has blood vessels feeding nutrients and funneling goodies to help heal and recover and all that good stuff, your joints do not have those things. All right. If your joints did have those things, they would explode into piles of blood every time you like took a jump because blood vessels are not very durable. If you started bruising because somebody slapped you, there's a lot more force every time you take one step. All right. So you need to move your joints. You need to move your joints in order for them to recover, in order for them to clean out the gunk in going on in your joints. I don't know what the terminology is, but that's not important because what is important is that you're moving. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's not under load, even if it's not building muscle, a little bit of movement goes a long way. And your body will typically like you better for it. It'll be like, ooh, nice. So take those 2 minutes, take those 4 minutes, take those however many minutes, how many times per day that you got them, and put them to work. All right. Oh, and that's some of the content that I make. If you hit follow, if you hit subscribe, you'll see stuff like that. Tiny little mini home workouts that you can do basically anywhere that you can incorporate into your life. Cool. I was like, what is this tangent for? Why am I talking about this? How do I take this back to relevant topic? Um, I also make some other videos over on YouTube regarding calisthenics. There's a couple of skills that I have created tutorials for. They are the frog stand, the crow pose, and the elbow lever. I would love it if you checked out those videos. I would love it if you gave them a try. I promise a lot of the moves are going to look really scary, look intimidating, look challenging, but they're definitely worth giving a shot. And especially the frog pose, frog stand. I always get the names wrong. The frog stand is mostly about balancing and figuring out how to not flop around. It's more about controlling the tension in your body than it is being super strong. All right. So check that out. And if you need a preview, I'm going to give it right now. Che said, we need a video for that amazing kick. I don't have the. I just, I made that video for funsies. I don't actually practice the little kick thing. In fact, I did a lot of warm up to be able to kick that thing. I probably did like 75 kicks to finally land one that looks smooth. You don't need to know about those background details because it kind of ruins the social media thing. But I tell you how it is for real. All right, frog stand looks a little like this. You're sticking your elbow into the flesh between your calf and your thigh. That little butt crack seam right here. Stick your elbow right into it, and do that on both sides at the very tippity top. All right. From here, you're gonna point your fingers up into the air. You're gonna splay your hands, and then you're gonna just stick your hands right down onto the ground. From here, as you lean forward, at some point there will be a balancing point. That is the hard part of this skill. Figuring out where that balancing point is for you and not being scared to lean a little bit further forward. All right. Boom. That is the frog stand. As you get stronger, as you get more comfortable in that position, you can start elevating it into its big brother, the crow pose. All right. The main difference on the crow pose is instead of resting your elbows into the soft, fleshy part of your thigh and calves, you're resting your knees on your triceps. And it looks a little bit like this. All right. Boom. Try to keep your body contained and tight. If you're really spread out wide, it makes you a little bit weaker, I promise. And from here, we're sticking our index fingers up. Once again, we're spreading the hands like so, sticking the hands straight down underneath us, and we're leaning real far forward. It's gonna feel like your face is about to fall on the ground. It's gonna feel really scary, but once you've mastered that lean, you figured out the balance, and you're comfortable, this starts turning into cool moves such as a handstand. Ooh, and pressing into it. All right, because a lot of the time, those are similar skills that you're building all at the same time. When you're training them, it's not going to feel like they're remotely the same. But once you've gotten the crow pose, and then you gotten a couple handstands, and you're like, oh, I understand the balance now. Some things will start coming together, and it'll feel like magic. All right, those are some cool moves I got video tutorials for over on YouTube. I would love it if you checked it out, if that seems interesting. There's one final move to talk about, and then I will use some Q&A. I am going to show you the elbow lever. This is actually my favorite of the three. Not because it is hard, not because it leads to very much, but because it looks the coolest. All right, you're holding a plank straight on your elbows. You can lift and control it if you're strong, but if you're not as strong, you can just hang out. All right, that is the elbow lever and is a great party trick that you can whip out. If you're interested in the tutorial for that, feel free to go over to YouTube and check out the account. I don't have that many regular long form videos, the wide ones, the normal ones that look normal on your TV, on your computer, on your tablet. And it's one like those 15. All right, elbow lever, frog stand, and crow pose. They are very, very beginner friendly to start experimenting with, and I hope you give it a try. Cool? Whew. All right, now that I'm out of breath, let's look at some Q&A. Keisha says, calisthenics is hard. Keisha has a lot of comments. Hold on. I'm going to look at YouTube real quick because there's only a handful of comments here, and then I'll hop over to TikTok. Good Vibes Forever says this, a little late today, but actually on time. Very nice. I also started like 2 minutes late, so you weren't that late. Don't worry. Queen RR says hello. Keisha is back. And Crab Shez 17 says fire. Nice. That's some good enthusiasm. I love it. All right. Keisha says, yes, I'm here to get my splits. Amazing, amazing. Definitely got deeper with my hamstring stretch. Awesome. That's good to know. I am assuming you're referring to doing a little bit of that knee bend, trying to bring your chest to the thigh and then straightening out the leg afterwards. That is good. Keisha has a question I didn't see before. Question: with all this stretching, how often should we foam roll? Do you foam roll out all the soreness? I actually don't foam roll at all. That is not to say that I don't recommend that you foam roll. It's just that I don't do any at all. And part of the reason is because this live already runs an hour and a half every single day, and I'm not really spending any more time on my fitness stuff other than what's happening on the live. And so I just do the thing that I like to do, and then I move on. If you like foam rolling, try it out. Start with just like one main muscle group, the one that you feel the most crazy or uncomfortable with. And if that helps, stick with it. Add it in. Make it a part of your routine. But I mean, I do have a foam roller over there. I just never use it. And I don't know. Maybe you need to run a consistency show where we do foam rolling, and I'll come to your show. Cool. All right. He just says calisthenics is hard. Calisthenics is not easy, but it is a lot of fun, and it's really good because it follows the general vibe that I try to create for this show. I try to do this with very, very low equipment so that people can jump in and people can get into it, so that people don't have to like have all of these background excuses to just trying a little bit of something. A lot of my content doesn't use equipment. Um, at some point, I will definitely have more equipment over time, but I like to keep it relatively simple. I would like to keep it relatively adaptable because most people are in that strength range where you don't need any equipment to get significantly stronger. And if you're past that range of strength, then awesome, great for you. You need some equipment. Go ahead and go use that equipment. But for the most part, for most of us at home, probably like 75% of the population, at least in the US, you don't really need anything. It's optional. You could probably get stronger a little bit faster if you wanted to, but it's optional. All right. Are you able to transition from elbow lever to frog then into handstand? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have enough strength to pull this off right here, but I'm going to give it a try. Elbow lever into frog stand, into something, into handstand. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Just going through elbow lever into handstand. Okay. I don't know. I've never tried it. We'll find out right now. All right. Elbow lever. From here, I gotta rotate my arms a little bit and see if I can get myself. Nope. I cannot. I couldn't get my knees in fast enough. Let's see. Can I make the elbow lever this version and then bring my knees in? Oh, almost. Nope. I can do frog to handstand, but I can't get that elbow lever back into a frog. stand. I gotta bring my legs way too high. Oh, okay. I'll try it a couple times later, and then I'll report back once I've had some practice. But I've never tried it before, so that was exhausting. Okay, I'm gonna scroll over on TikTok and see what I've missed. I'm gonna scroll up real quick to the top and see if there are any older questions I can respond to before TikTok makes old comments disappear. I've been having this issue with TikTok where some chat that's a little earlier in the show will just not be visible anymore. It won't scroll far enough back. So I'm going to take a quick look. It seems like it was relatively quiet. Josh says, hi, made it in the live today. Welcome back, Josh. It's good to see you. Welcome back, welcome back. Che is welcoming Josh. Lovely. Sending good vibes to each other. I love it. Reese has resubmitted my username, I guess. I don't know how that works, but cool. We got some gifts. Thank you, Dee for sending a gift. I appreciate it. Your first gift, amazing. Thank you. And I'm gonna keep scrolling. A bunch of people have followed live. Amazing. Oh, by the way, you guys should all follow and subscribe and keep on coming back because we do these live shows a lot, a lot. Uh, George Zen says, yikes, most vulnerable and unneeded mobility. That's not untrue. For most people, you don't need some side splits. For most people, you don't need very much to get through your normal daily life. And if you don't like side splits, feel free to not do the side splits. For most people, it's not that necessary. For most people, if you can sit comfortably on the ground, you can get up off the ground, you can get back onto the ground, you can get up from a flopped over on the floor position, preferably without your hands, and you can get off the ground without your hands. That would be plenty. That will be a lot. Do you need side splits? No, absolutely not. Do you need a front split? No, absolutely not. Is it cool to have one because you have personal goals to do cool things? Absolutely. It's just like how nobody needs to be able to do a handstand. Is it cool? Yeah. Would you like to do one? Yeah, that's same idea. Uh, most mobility skills, once you've built, will be very maintainable for a long time. Some of the strength focus skills, as you get weaker, it's going to get harder and harder to maintain. But in general, once you've built the skill, it is going to be much easier to maintain it than it is going to be to build it. And that's what all life is, right? Focusing on your hobbies. Do I need to learn how to rewire the electric in my house? No. Would it be awesome if I did? Yeah, I'd feel really cool knowing that skill. Do I need to be able to build all my own furniture? No. Do I appreciate that I can do some basic woodworking? Yes, I do. So uh, that's how I feel about mobility. I would like to be able to move my legs a little bit better. I have found that I have some really cool dancer friends who can kick their legs up into the sky, kick like their leg into their face with power, and then like do cool dancey things. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of sick. I want to try to do some of that stuff. So this is where I'm at in my journey. And I know my biggest weakness is consistency. And that's what this show is for, to help us all stay a little bit more consistent, help us work towards our goals. If you have other things that you care about, and you would prefer to spend this 9 to 10:30-ish time every single day pursuing that other thing that you care about, you would just like to be around people who are trying to stay consistent, feel free to come to the live and do whatever else that you want to do. You don't even have to do side splits, right? If you just need some mental distraction background noise of me grunting and groaning and describing side splits, I'm 100% for it. Right? The goal at the end of the day is to help you do whatever crazy stuff you want to do, what you care about. Hopefully, we match up on hobbies and we're doing some side splits, some hip mobility, and everything is moving a little better, a little bit smoother. You can have some fun, but you don't really need that much mobility. You don't really need to be able to drop into a deep Cossack switch. You don't need to be able to get up off the ground with one leg. Like you don't need any of those skills. You don't need most things. And if you have it though, it makes you feel comfortable doing a lot more stuff, right? I find that as my parents age, they're starting to take less risks, even if I know 10 years ago when I was a little younger and they were hanging out with me more, they were doing cooler stuff. I know that, you know, they're feeling what they consider age and what I consider lack of training. And it's somewhere in the middle. It's not like the age is unrelated, but had they kept up with a little bit more training, had they stayed a little bit more fun, had they been a little bit different. I'm trying to get them to do a little bit more training now that I'm back in the States. That there is some of it that can be countered with good old fashioned exercise, right? And is it necessary? No. Will it help them feel more comfortable, help them feel more secure, help them feel more confident in their bodies? Yes. And that is what I care about. I want you guys to feel confident doing whatever the heck that you want to do. Whether that is just believing in yourself, knowing that you're the type of person who shows up and practices consistency, great. If you're the type of person who moves a lot, doing handstands, crawling around, flipping all over the place like a monkey, amazing. Not really what we're doing on the show, but if that's you, that's sick. Just because the show doesn't match what you're doing and what you're capable of doesn't mean that it's not cool, right? Anyways, I'm going off on a crazy tangent now, so I'm gonna scroll a little bit more in the chat. I'm gonna get ready to wrap up over here. um Keisha says this is definitely great for martial arts, so happy I found this channel, amazing. And then Good Vibes Forever says, I'm gonna try foam rolling before the stream tomorrow and see if it's any different. Yes, run those tests and tell me if they feel different. I don't know that I'm going to add any more content to this show because it is already frequently running like an hour and 10 minutes before the Q&A and before I do the shameless self promotion stuff. Um, so you should definitely check it out for me and then let me know if it feels really useful. If it's really good, I'll consider, incorporating a little bit of it into the show. Cool? All right. Che, send in emojis and good vibes. I love it. Swigline asks, can in thoracic rotation, is that good for lower back? I found it to help my back overall. The lower back isn't actually designed to move very much. So most of the thoracic rotation comes from the thoracic spine. The thoracic spine is a very specific part of your spine. It's below your neck, right? So it's kind of like from your collarbone ish area down to basically the bone that is the very last bone where a rib sticks out of. Or I mean, I guess the rib doesn't stick out of because they float in your body, but uh, basically here. And they're designed to do the majority of the rotation and the majority of the movement. The low back is not designed to move very much at all, and that is often why we have a lot of low back discomfort. It is because it's not designed to move very well, but other things in our body get locked up, including our hips, including our upper back. And when those are stuck, the weakest link has to suffer the burden, right? And the weakest link that I'm describing is the low back. So part of the reason why we do hip mobility work, part of the reason why we work on that thoracic rotation and try to get more mobile in the spine is so that we put less pressure into that low back so it doesn't have to compensate for the lack of mobility everywhere else. Um, if you're feeling a little bit in your low back, it's probably fine. But as you're saying, if you are feeling like your whole back is getting a little bit better, amazing. That's what we want. Again, your low back technically isn't moving very much. It's like moving a tiny percentage. And then most of the movement that is supposed to be happening in your spine is happening here. So it should be the case that that's what's happening. If you were moving a ton in the low back, you would probably be a little bit uncomfortable doing the thoracic rotation. So that, I think, summarizes everything. We got one more over here. Keisha says, oh no, Keisha says, me too, because I have a desk job and I lift and do Taekwondo, so I get tight in my hips quick. I try to foam roll tomorrow night. Good, 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 good. Yes, have all the peoples run the foam roll test. How do I go lower in my butterfly stretch? Should I use weights like dumbbells on my legs? If you have dumbbells, feel free to use them. It will be much easier to apply steady pressure. I talk about using your hands to push your legs down, right? And then I talk about having your back up against the wall And I do that mainly because in case people don't have weights, in case people don't have all this extra stuff and still need a little bit of external pressure, that is how you can do it, right? If you have weights, which I do, I got these little baby weights, these little 5 pounders. Feel free to rest them right around just inside the knee a little bit. If you have some grippiness and you can keep them steady, feel free to let them hang out. I think for most people, you're going to need a little bit more than 5 pound dumbbells to get past a certain point, but this is a great place to start. Absolutely. Use a little bit of weight. Replace your hands with some dumbbells. At the end of the day, you're probably going to have to hold the dumbbells because they're going to be probably pretty significant, and you're going to be like, "Ooh, I don't want these to fall on the floor." But you can go whichever way. All right, back to TikTok. Jay says, "What?" And uh, Jay says, "I was being a baby. I'm pushing through." Okay, good. I don't know what you pushed through, but um, Jay's, Jay's upset about the side split. Uh, Yeah, yeah. We do three every single day. And it has been that way for at least 8 months, I think. There was a moment in time where it was just one side split and then we wrapped up. And I think I did that version of the show for several months. And I was like, I'm not really making any progress. Maybe we should do a little bit more than 1 rep. And then it became 3 reps. And then it became 3 reps going fast is like way too exhausting when you shake out the tension, and it turned into like the relaxing thing in the middle. And now it's where we're at. The relaxing thing in the middle is probably a little bit overkill, especially because I spend time explaining those like 2.5 moves a little bit every single time. But I am worried that somebody will come in for the first time in the middle of one of those, and then they'll be like, what? So, yeah. I need to sit down. I need to really think about how to tighten up that ending a little bit. I've been shrinking it. I've been getting rid of some extra instructions. I've been moving it and trimming out pieces so that we're doing one main, like inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside of that leg thing, instead of doing all three and talking about all three every single time. And I'm trying to shrink the overall length of the show a little bit. I am running out of easy stuff to cut. I think now it's just like the personality stuff that I can cut, and that's not as fun. So there goes like opportunity for humor. All right. Anyways, keep going. Scroll. Josh says to Che, hey, it was a good stretch today. Amazing. Good. Josh says this is my 60th day in a row doing the whole routine. Amazing. Congratulations, Josh. Thank you for keeping track and reporting it. That feels good. It feels good to be because now I know other people take it as seriously as I do. Jay sending awesome emojis of support. Travel with Roxy celebrating Josh, and uh, man, that's awesome. Jay says we need the video for that amazing kick, please. Oh, okay. For y'all who don't know, I recently posted sort of an entertaining, humorous video about uh, closing lights with a kick, just like sticking the leg out and going and hitting the switch. My legs are not nearly relaxed enough to actually lift the leg high enough and consistently enough to do this right now. Boom. Okay, maybe I can. But basically, something like that. There's no real video for this. I wish that I could kick higher and do like cool things with my legs. As you know, we do this hip mobility show, and every day we're going high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, and all that stuff. Um, at some point, it would be really sick to take that to the next level and turn it into like some kicking type exercises, and kick higher and higher and higher. Like, ugh, to take that side split and like turn it into a kick where I can kick straight up into the air and go sideways, that would be amazing. But realistically, that's going to take a long time because it's taken me quite a long time to get here to this point. So that would be nice. We're going to keep on putting the reps in. We're going to keep on practicing consistency. And we're going to see where it goes. Cool. All right. What else we got? I think that is. Oh nope. A couple more questions and comments down here. May says, "Hey, happy Thursday." Happy Thursday. Alex says, Ken Strong! Yes, strong! Eric says, hey, hello. Josh does nice attempt on the elbow lever into frog stand into handstand. Alex says, I hurt my back weightlifting. What do you recommend? Feels like rest just hurts. It depends on where in your back hurts. I would recommend that you focus on holding and applying tension. You don't have to move. You just want to act real slow against whatever is feeling painful. Um, how do I say this in a helpful way that makes sense? You don't want to be doing explosive work, right? Like anything that's going, bah! Like fast and explosive, that's going to feel awful for your back. But you want your back to be okay with doing stuff. A lot of the time, after an injury, your back is just going to not want to do anything at all. And any little thing will set it off and make it really, really, really unhappy. So, if you know you have the strength to hold something, right, you can slowly build up comfort hanging in positions that hypothetically don't require that much from you. You're already lifting weights, so you can go find some really, really easy baby exercises, right? If you have a back extension at your gym, the one where your legs are kind of hooked in over underneath you, and then you're like folding over the thing, and then you kind of straighten out your back like that. If you can, I mean, even use a stool, use the edge of your couch to kind of do something like this and just hold your back steady and tight and keep yourself activating those muscles, working those muscles without doing anything like big explosive actually movement wise. That should help your back calm down a little bit and also help you maintain some strength while you're waiting for your back to recover. Um, I think phase one is generally trying to desensitize your back and make it so it doesn't act up every single time you try to do anything to it. And the main way for that is to just use the muscles without doing too much movement that will actually aggravate it. Cool. What else we got? Swigline says, "Oh, I understand now. Thank you for clarifying. No harm has come to my lower back. Was asking because of another comment they were asking about advice on lower back. Oh, okay, awesome, good, 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 good. I'm glad there's no harm coming to your lower back. That would be very, very bad. Ken doing Thai boxing. High kicks are difficult. Yeah. Thai boxing. In Muay Thai, they don't have, or I guess in the sport of Muay Thai. I don't know about like the fancy, not the fancy, the like classic historical Muay styles of martial arts. But in Muay Thai, their kicks are like you're throwing your hip and then you're taking the leg with you, and it's like your leg is a baseball bat, boom. Whereas in a lot of other kicking martial arts, there's a lot more snapping and whipping going on. And in the handful of classes I took, it still sounded really scary, but the kick is definitely very different. It was like a whoosh, whipping the leg around. Jay Pizzle asks if I am a physical therapist. I am not a physical therapist. But I have had a significant amount of back pain. For after messing up some squats, I had back pain probably for close to a year, where I couldn't sit down on a bus uh, for longer than like 15 minutes without trying to lift myself up off of the armrests so I can let my low back relax and depensify. I don't know what the word is, loosen up. And it has given me lots of experience trying to solve my own problem, researching for my own problems. And to this day, because I have all this trauma of stupid low back injuries, every time something comes up on the internet that's related to low back, I'm like, tell me more. Hmm. What could I have done differently all those years ago? uh, I still have moments of discomfort in the low back, and I, would benefit from some more intentional work on my low back and low back strength when the videos, the social media videos here first started probably 8 months ago, I was doing a whole bunch more low back work and a whole bunch more like knee prehab rehab work because I also have a achy left knee here. And in 2 months, huge, massive improvements in quality of life. And I was like, damn, that was awesome. And I refer to these guys over and over again on the live whenever people ask about low back pain and knee pain. It is Low Back Ability and Knees Over Toes guy. Their free content is plenty. Like pick 3 to 5 of their favorite exercises that they recommend. Just do those for a little bit. Keep consistent with it, and it makes a huge difference. Um, I believe in that stuff, and I have not done any of that stuff in like 8 months. So I think I need to get back into it because my knee is starting to act up a little bit right here. My low back is giving me a little bit of issue, and it's because I haven't gone out of my way to train them. Like I said, the live running an hour and a half daily is already taking up a whole bunch of my time, so I haven't been setting time aside to do the other things that my body apparently likes a lot, and I desperately need to go take care of those things. Cause Because when you're doing all that folding in the pancake, when you're sitting in your side splits and you're just like in this position, if you know your knee is like rotating, it's not staying strong, you can put a whole bunch of pressure in those places that don't like the pressure. One of the places that I had a lot of trouble with, and one of the reasons why I started with the side split instead of the front split, which in general people say is easier, is because this left knee going backwards behind me, I used to feel a whole bunch of discomfort on the inside of that leg. And if I get really deep and I hang out here for a little bit, I can start feeling a little bit of it kicking in. And it used to be much worse. I think it got significantly better when I did some of those knee exercises that I did months and months and months ago. And I just never really thought about the front split again because I was already doing the side split stuff. And I don't know where I'm going with this because I kind of forgot why I was rambling about this. But knee pain, that knee stuff, I need to start working on again because I'm feeling the aches. And it used to be just like a humid winter thing where it's both cold and humid, where I used to feel it in the knees. But I'm feeling it right now. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, I guess, where it's not that cold, where it's not that hot. It's kind of all over the place. And sometimes my knees hurt me. So I need to give it some love. Anyways, we don't need to go off on this tangent where I complain about my own pain. Okay, let's get ready to wrap up. Luzum says thanks again. Love it. Jay Pizzle says you are a natural. Josh says same. Moving around in general is much easier, especially at my labor intensive job. Good, good. I'm glad that the little bit of time that we spend moving together every day helps you move better in the rest of your life. That's the goal, right? Uh, that's why we're training for side splits so that we can actually move better and do the side splits. But it's really relieving to hear your own personal stories and that you're doing better because it makes it worth it for everybody else, right? Like I'm doing the side splits, but if you're recovering from all sorts of other things like 3 car accidents, Jesus, uh, that's amazing. All right, I'm gonna read Alex a little bit deeper. Alex says, I did some 2-minute planks earlier, and that helped a lot. It's low back pain. Thank you, Ken. The lumbar is my worst enemy. I blame the 3 car accidents. Eesh. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's going to be very healthy for your spine. I'm over here complaining about squatting mistakes. I've been in 3 car accidents. Damn. Okay, well, I hope you focus on keeping that body nice and strong and tight, spending time in a position where your back is straining, where it's pushing, where it's contracting, but not necessarily where it's moving a ton and doing a lot of, like spinal wave type things. And hopefully that helps you get a little bit more comfortable in those positions. And like you said, you were doing the plank earlier and that felt good. That's basically the same stuff that I'm talking about. So good job. All right. What else we got? Keisha says, good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Keisha. And oh, we got one more comment from Eris, a rice, Eris La Montoya says, I have really weak knees. They have past injury of popping out, and when you turn your feet up and turn your knee up for the splits, it's a little difficult and scary for my knees. Other options. Okay, yes, very specific options for you in particular. Okay, hold on, let me think about this. If you have weak knees in general, you probably want to train and focus on your knees a little bit. If it's feeling scary, you need to build confidence, right? If you're feeling like actively going, ooh, maybe I should not be doing this with my knees, it's going to be much, 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 much harder for your body to relax and let you get into the splits, because that subconscious fear in the back of your head about your knees is going to be difficult to fight with, your conscious emotions going, relax those muscles. This, the back of your head is going to be like, ah, I don't want to go there. And um, so I would probably recommend that you focus on strengthening the knees first. There is a guy called Knees Over Toes Guy, and I briefly said his name a couple minutes ago. Um, he has a YouTube, he has an Instagram, he has a whole bunch of things. His core business is training people with basically the same content that he teaches online for free. So you can absolutely go check out his YouTube channel, Knees Over Toes Guy. So Knees Over Toes Guy, and check out some of his basic content for slowly strengthening up your knees. That should be your first priority, right? Because we want you to be confident in your knees. We want you to be confident in all the other cool things that you need to be able to do, because side splits are bonus, right? Side splits are fun. Side splits are for when you have all that extra, time to waste on doing cool things. Once your knees are a little bit stronger, here are some slight alternatives to what we are doing in our show. All right, the reason why I have us do this thing where the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are up. I'm gonna stay closer to the camera, so I have to keep my legs a little closer too. The reason why we do this is because we're trying to maintain a very consistent position between our hips and our thighs. All right, and that position basically is this. I'm gonna do this at a diagonal, and I'm gonna try and sit far enough. Right, we're trying to sit up with our toes pointing up. And when you get real flexible, you can open up that leg and you can hang out in this position, right? This is basically the whole thing. This is all we're holding for the side splits. We're just trying to open our legs really, really, really wide from here, from seated on the ground like this, right? Open, 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 open. I don't have enough control of my muscles to pull my legs further out. If I was higher up off the ground, gravity was pushing against my leg. I was getting pulled down into the ground. I'd be able to get a little bit further, right? So there is one main detail that we're doing to protect our hips, to protect our joints from pain, and that is keeping folded, right? And when we do the live, and I tell you to externally rotate your legs like so, set your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are up. We're basically just still maintaining that slightly bent angle, right? Maybe it's not 90 degrees, maybe it's more like 110 degrees or 120 degrees, but that is what we are maintaining. And the bent angle is there to make sure that our thigh bones don't smash into our hip bones. So if you feel like doing this rotation where your foot is flat like this to here is feeling scary, feeling a little bit dangerous, you can stay in this position. You can absolutely chill here for as long as you want. And what you have to do instead is make sure your hips are folded forward like this. And if you want to look upright, if you want to watch the video or something, you got to bend at the low back here to look up. All right? This is the same position. This right here is the same as us sitting down and opening up our legs, right? We do it at a slight angle so that gravity is still pulling our legs apart, but we're just still maintaining this 90-ish ish degree situation. And when we're seated on the ground, gravity isn't pulling our legs further, right? When we are having our hips a little bit higher, gravity is pulling us into the ground and making us go into a deeper stretch. So if you rotate this even further, so that your feet are flat on the ground in a more stable position, you're just going to be like this on your hands. And gravity will still pull your legs down. You'll still feel it. That's fine. You don't have to change this up. But uh, for you to stand a little bit more upright, for you to look up, you have to fold here. You have to feel that tension in the low back in order to look up. Otherwise, if you just want to hang out down here, that's fine. This is also still a side split. Cool. That was a super long, rambly, roundabout way to talk about all sorts of things aside from the position that would be fine, which is just don't look up. If that made sense, let me know. If that did not make sense because I went all over the place, tell me and I will try to turn it into something more concise because I haven't answered that question that way before and I kind of made it up on the spot. Whew. Okay. Oh, I'm tired. It is. Oh man, it's almost 2 hours deep into this live. All right. Arise Montoya over on YouTube. If you got other questions, feel free to shoot me a message over in on YouTube or something and let me know. Otherwise, there is no otherwise. I'm wrapping up the chat because it's 2 hours deep into the live. It's time for me to go do other stuff. I had a wonderful time answering your questions, and it's time to wrap up the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, hanging out, working on that mobility. I hope you remember that the goal of this show is to help you practice a little bit of consistency, to help you remember that this is who you are and it's how you do things. You're someone who stays consistent. You're someone who works on the things that you need to work on and who is putting in the work, no matter if it's a 20% day, a 50% day, a 100% day, you're showing up and you're putting in what you can. All right. You don't have to do 100% every single day. That is not consistency. That is robotic craziness. You're putting in what you can and you're showing up to make it happen. All right. So, with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. And I hope you come back tomorrow because we got more lives tomorrow at 9 p.m. If you have no idea what time zone I'm talking about, we started this live 2 hours ago. That was 9 p.m. So go come back tomorrow, but 2 hours ago, 22 hours from now. Cool? All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Closing out. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Good vibes says, see everyone tomorrow. Have an epic night. And Arisla Montoya says, thank you so much. Thumbs up.